Good morning, love.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Let's do this.
Let's talk about self-medication with a heavy focus on alcohol.
Right.
And it's a really hard topic because in America we love our alcohol.
Well, and this is just our opinion, no real science, and this could change how we could change how we feel
Yeah.
tomorrow. This is just your current riff on it.
That's where we're at.
Okay, go.
Okay. Disclaimer. 34 years old. 2 kids. Public service. Servant. What's your opinion of alcohol, love, and its role in our society and how we enjoy it / use it?
Oof.
Being a wife, mother of 2, wife of a firefighter,
I
all that
think
stuff.
I've come to view it as a crutch and a substance that we personally have turned to support us and aid us in hard times and fun times. And I feel like I see a parallel between alcohol as a substance of choice to numb in parallel with products like CBD or prescription medications from a therapist or doctor. I think the three types can serve a similar, if not same, purpose to cope through challenging times, whether that's through PTSD, sleep deprivation, traumas from your profession as a EMS personnel, or even myself when I was teaching, or parenting and trying to take the edge off, or family issues and trying to get through a holiday season and seeing family. And personally, I don't see how, someone could say that they're sober when they're using something like CBD or nicotine, or someone could say that they're sober when they're using sugar, as a coping. Like, to me, that's also a numbing. I know they've done studies on to see how sugar lights up your brain, and paralleled with hard drugs, what is lit up. I don't know the science, but I know that there is science supporting that parallel. So I know that I personally have relied on alcohol and sugar, food, as substances through hard times. And I feel like we both have decided to cut back significantly in our drinking. And I, really can't hardly function as a parent while drinking. I can't solo drink. John's at work. I can't drink if I'm by myself with the kids, just because I don't have capacity to take care of them in the ways that I need to. Even if it's just one drink, I don't even do that because it's not really, I'm not my best, and I need to be able to have capacity to take care of them. So I rely on chocolate and jalapeno chips to get me through. What about you, love?
Yeah, all those things. So because I brought up alcohol as main focus because I think it's the easiest for people to go like, okay, yeah, alcohol's probably not healthy for me, and it's something I do, right? Because as humans, we have a tendency to have denial about a little bit of everything, be defensive, and we could say like, oh well, my bubbly waters aren't bad, or
Those are acidic.
apparently they're not good for your teeth, or who knows? Or, I mean, anything that's not natural is probably not good for you. Let's be real. But my point is, there's all these different layers which my personal favorite's actually exercise. Like, at what point is exercise actually detrimental to you? Like, if your goal is to live a long and healthy life, you probably shouldn't live like a Spartan every day. You know,
Speaking from experience.
you probably shouldn't. Um, but what is your goal? Like, maybe your goal is to live fully, and you know that that's going to decrease your lifespan. It's all a balance. There's no right or wrong. But I find that when I do the mirror test, um, 9 times out of 10, alcohol isn't helping my life immediately. Um, it's it's slowing my momentum. It's a slight numbing agent, which sometimes you need that. Um, and like college, like right in college when you're drinking, like just doing that to reduce social anxiety, so you're more comfortable in these weird social moments with people that you're still getting to know. Um, it wasn't nothing healthy about that. You should be able to just be comfortable in your own skin and socialize and not need um, oh sorry, blinded by the light. But what I'm getting at is the mirror test. So a common thing with old guys retiring, not a common thing, but a fairly common thing, is that when they go to retire, like let's say the normal schedule is 2 days on, 4 days off, they'll keep that schedule in retirement for drinking. They'll say, let's say I was on A shift when I retired. Like, I don't drink on A shift. They're not even firemen anymore. They don't go to work. But if they didn't keep that schedule, then they drink every day. And they would know, like, okay, this isn't good. I can't be drunk every day. That's going to go down to a bad place. So that's their first step of making sure that stuff doesn't get out of control. Because we all like to think that we're not addicts or reliant, but you get so deep. You have the forest in the trees. You get so deep in the trees for 25 years, 30 years, you don't even realize that you're doing these things. And that's how you end up with early diabetes. Like, oh, I didn't realize that I have 12 Coca-Colas a day, right? I'm supposed to drink fluids. And I like Coke. I didn't even pay attention, right? You don't even realize that you're having 8 fingers of scotch every night. I don't know. When I go to do the dishes, I just pour myself a drink. And sometimes I have two, right? As I said, I can't really see any of the signs. I think it's the next one. So alcohol, I think, is interesting because, you know, we have such a high populace of people that we have such an easy access to alcohol. It's supported by the government, more or less. Um, that then you have a much higher percentage of people having issues with it versus other substances. So people think it's a huge issue, and it is. Uh, we see family members have liver issues. We see um, abuse in households, and we blame it on alcohol. And there's a lot of ties to that, I think. But also, you know, life is stressful, and people seek medication for a reason, right? It's hard living life. And how would they act if they didn't have that medication? Would things actually be worse? I don't know. Would they? So in the book, The Wealthy Gardener, he talks about, it's a great book, by the way, it's one of my favorites. He talks about alcohol, and he talks about the parable of stupefied smiles, right? Which is this king builds this land, and he says, I will build this land, and everyone will work as a team to support it. And there will be various classes, and everyone will play their role. And but they will be what will keep the wheel turning is everyone will be subjectified by money, pretty much. What binds everyone together is fair value and finance, and they will work every day of their lives more or less to keep this wheel turning. And they ask, well, how will you keep people working every day? That sounds like pretty much slave labor until the day they die. Won't they revolt? Won't there be some sort of trying to turn over the ship to get some exponential return for themselves and flip the system, mutiny? And he said, no. If you make sure that there's enough bread, water, shelter, all you need to do is inject a little bit of numbing agent every day, for them to be okay with their situation. And that numbing agent is alcohol. If you make sure there's plenty of alcohol within the system, people will continue playing their part. And they will enjoy their lives and move forward in a state of stupefied smiles. It's kind of like the old Roman thing where it's like, was it feed and entertain? Just feed and entertain. And I always thought of myself, personally, as a sponge. And there's one image that always comes to my mind with my job, my nature, is like, you ever seen the movie Green Mile? Um, Green Mile has Tom Hanks, and I think the actor's name is Michael Duncan. But anyways, Michael Duncan is a prisoner in this like hardcore maybe it's like 1920s prison, and he has this gift where he heals people by like taking the the, the hurt out of them. Anyone who's seen this movie knows what I'm talking about. He takes the hurt out of them, and it's like all these black flakes. It looks really dark, and he sucks them in to remove them from that person into his own body, and then he like releases them out. So he's like the filter. He pretty much removes the bad and the trauma from these other people and the hurt and heals them. And then his body's the filter for all that horrible thing, and then it comes out. And I think that essentially we kind of do that as human beings. When we help each other and we interact, we're receiving and giving back energy back and forth. And the fact that they put it into this tangible item you see going from one human being to another, it's like a really easy concept to visualize and understand for us. And he plays a role amazing, and ends up, I think in the movie it kills him. And I think we do that in real life, is that we all have our roles. And a lot of civil servants, public servants, is we're the filters of society. We come in, there's problems, we fix the problems, we do our best to interject, and then we move on in life. But how do you get rid of that stuff? How do you get that out, right? Like, so you took all that trauma from society and you tried your best to play your part of fixing it.
And how do you process it?
How do you get it out of you? How do you get all that black flaky stuff out? I don't think everyone's so good at it. And then there comes the alcohol. So, but the thing about alcohol is it numbs you. It doesn't actually get things out of you. So the way that I think is most effective for me to get things out is through exercise. Like, it's by, when I exercise, just things churn in my brain that I haven't thought about for years, and I'm working through things.
Well, and I think that aids in keeping the other stimulants at bay, because, just like the other day when I went out for the first time and got a babysitter at night, paid for a babysitter, and I didn't drink, and it was our 14-year date anniversary, and I didn't have a single drink because I had made myself a goal, a plan, a promise, and my sister to do the turkey burn Peloton ride, and that was more important to me than drinking the night before. So I still went and had a great time. I still celebrated. I still feel like I had a great time with Jon and our friends, and it wasn't, the alcohol wasn't the circle, what is that called? The center, sorry.
Yeah, center focus.
Center focus of the evening. So, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it has been.
And that's not bad either, because, so, what I want to get at is, like, so let's say you're using alcohol as a medication, which a lot of people do. We just do. I think if you look in the mirror, you'll be honest with yourself. You'll be like, I'm having a drink right now because I don't want to feel the anxiety, or I have a drink right now because I had a long day and I just need to relax, or whatever it is, or there's things I don't want to think about, right? Just fill in the blank. I think there's something there you'll be able to find and relate with. But think about the goal of why you're drinking that. I'm having that drink because I don't want to feel, is kind of the way it leads. Like, I want to feel better. Well, better than what? Well, it's like there's something you don't want to feel is why you might be having that drink. Maybe if you're so, there's a lot of layers to this. I'm not trying to put words in anyone's mouth here, but I think when I reflect on myself, like, if the answer is I want to feel better because I don't want to feel X or Y or Z, often the solution really is like, if I were to do yoga, get some fresh air, eat good food, or exercise, and spend that 4 hours of what it takes to get those tasks done, I would get that feeling I desire, right? It takes those things to get that feeling I desire. This is option A. Or I could have a couple drinks and then get that feeling immediately for a little bit until I pass out. One way takes a lot less effort, right? But it doesn't get anything out. Everything still stays in. All those little black flakes still stay in, but for a little bit you feel better. You get that goal of what you wanted. That certain amount of dopamine did get released. Or you stay the course, you put in 4 hours of the work, then your body gets what it needs, it feels the way it wants to, blah, 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 and you probably got stuff out too along the way. So you're not retaining all this crap.
You're processing instead of numbing.
Which nobody likes to. I know I don't like to think about that concept. Like, oh well, it's not really like numbing. It's not numbing. Numbing is like, I think, like one of those words where people get offended. It's a denial word.
And we're going to go back to, this is our current perspective now as 34-year-olds with 2 kids, and this is not maybe how we felt even a year ago. So it's just.
And I drink. I still drink. And still drinks. We do. Like, we love. There's nothing. We don't look at anyone poorly or differently for it. It's just when I look in the mirror and I think about this action. Same thing with exercise. When I think about how hard I exercise, like, it's not because of my goals. When I think about how hard I exercise, of like, it used to be I exercised really hard because I wanted to be able to pass a fire academy. I want to be able to do my job. Now, just being truthful with myself, I exercise this hard because it gives me a level of endorphins, and it gives me a level of self churning where it's like therapy for me. It's just a box I need to check every day, every other day, to make me feel good. Is that good and healthy? I don't know yet. I mean, I had hip surgery at the age of 27.
And you had 2 days hospitalized.
For rhabdo.
For rhabdo this year.
Yeah. Does that sound healthy? I don't think it does. But it's part of my life. It's where I'm at. So that's why we're having these conversations of like, what's the right answer? I don't know, but I could tell you these are the realities that I'm going through. Like, and which one's slightly healthier? If I think about myself long term, I still think exercise is healthier than drinking.
Thanks for sharing, love. Until the next iteration of this topic.
Sounds good.